Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today. This is part of the Phase 3 Showcase series where we are showcasing different solution providers. I'm really pleased today to be joined by my good friend Christophe from Skeeled. Morning, Christophe.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
Hi. So just before we begin, a little bit of background about Phase 3 for those of you who don't know us that well. We are leading providers of people, technology, consulting and services. And what that means is we help clients to select, implement, develop, and then manage HR and payroll solutions. And we offer outsourced services for analytics, reporting, system administration, and payroll services as well. So that's just a little bit of background to Phase 3. Today's session is going to be heavily led by Christophe to tell you a little bit of information about Skeeled and then jump into a product demonstration, which I hope you'll find really useful. So at that point, I will hand over to you, Christophe.
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Christophe Gobel. I'm the head of partnerships for Skeeled. Skeeled is actually a company based in Luxembourg. We've been going for about 5 years, still a startup, about 45 employees. We also have an office in Porto in Portugal, where most of our engineering and development takes place. And in a nutshell, we are what we call a predictive talent acquisition software. We use best of breed advanced technology, AI, automation to kind of combine that with various other kind of ATS elements, predictive employment assessments and tests, video interviews, employer branding and sourcing. And we call it predictive because all of this technology together with recruiters makes the screening, ranking and matching of candidates to specific jobs much more predictable. So without further ado, I'm going to switch off my video and jump into a product demonstration. All right, so welcome to Skeeled. This is kind of like the main entry-level dashboard that kind of highlights current active jobs, and then from there you can kind of look at what applicants have been coming in. Before we do that, let me quickly jump into the settings and the setup of Skeeled. One of the key USPs of Skeeled is that it's really easy to use and implement. I've worked in tech and SaaS for many years, and this is definitely one thing that has attracted me to Skeeled. It's really easy to manage and set things up. So just to give you a quick flavor here, this is where you would set up your personal information, your email signature. More importantly, this is where you would set up your team, so anybody who's involved in the process. And we have a number of kind of predefined roles, admins, recruiters, supervisors, visitors, but you can also customize all of these. You can actually have as many users as you want. And for each of these roles and users, you can set multiple permissions as part of the project. You can also easily kind of assign different team members to specific jobs. Nice and easy to do this. So for example, if I wanted to add Evan to this particular role, you could just drag and drop him over and he would be able to access this particular job. You can further customize all of these permissions and again move people around very easily from different roles just by dragging and dropping them. And you can further customize all of these permissions on a per user level and take and untick whatever permissions you want to set for them. So really flexible and customizable at a user level or role level. Company tab allows clients to kind of set up company information. This is also where you set up a duration for how long data may be kept with us. It's worth highlighting that we're super secure and 100% GDPR compliant. You can also kind of customize look and feel and add logos, which would potentially appear on your job ads as well. And you can include further company information. You can specify status lists for the applicants. And you can also set up multiple tags, which come in handy further down the line when you tag different applicants and you want to search your talent pool based on specific tags that you might have set. Another important feature is the ability to create workflow templates, and you can have as many workflow templates as you want. These are all, again, customizable and flexible. So for example, these example steps here where new applicants might be coming in, next step might be a phone screen, a personality assessment, an in-person interview, a manager interview, hire or rejected. And again, you could add multiple steps to these workflows. We'll get back to those in a minute. Another important area is the ability to create email templates. You can actually create shared templates, which will be shared amongst the whole team, and you can also create personalized templates. And again, these are fully customizable based on your requirements, and they are dynamic, so dear first name, last name, etc. Lots of flexibility. Notifications, this is where you specify who receives what kind of notifications. And again, you can customize this on a user or role level. Libraries is where you can add content and classify certain jobs by functions. Scorecards is an important feature to reduce bias, of course, where you can create scorecard templates that all the different people interviewing candidates will have to use and provide feedback on. Apps is the tab that gives you access to our open API. So it's important to note that we have a sophisticated API that allows for data to be easily integrated into other HRIS and other software. Here's also where you can set up employee referral codes. And finally, this is the area where you can see integrations. I'll get back to that in a minute, but we do have a number of integrations already available, and we're working on more. So one of them is the ability by a partnership with Indeed to post jobs straight onto Indeed from within Skeeled. But on the candidate side, if you apply, you can also use your Indeed profile. I'll get back to that in a minute. So that, I guess, was a slightly boring bit in terms of showing you how the setup works. But again, you can see it's really easy to set these things up.
It very much looks like you don't have to be a very technical person to be able to use the system and to set it up, which is something that's often appealing for customers.
Exactly. And of course, I mean, we do have a great onboarding and customer success team that kind of helps our clients with setting things up, of course. Now let's have a look at some jobs with this example here. At the moment, this isn't live. It would be a green dot if it was live. When I say live, it would be available on your intranet career page or your public-facing career page, or it might be published onto a job board or a set of job boards. So let's say we want to create a publication for this particular job. You can create a whole new publication or use a previous template. You can specify whether it's an internal or an external publication, and you can also specify what kind of information may or may not be included as part of this publication of a particular job. And again, this is totally flexible and customizable. Then you specify, again, whether it's an internal or an external publication. You could choose a color scheme, include logo. You can also specify whether you want to use the unassisted applicant screening or the assisted applicant screening, meaning the assisted one is when our AI comes in. And again, the AI matches a job description with all the information that a candidate supplies as part of the application process. You then have a summary and a review. Anything is editable, and before it gets published, of course, you have the ability to edit and review before it goes live, so to speak. And again, you have a final option to review the information. And once you're happy with that, it will allow you to specify certain add-ons. So you might want to ask applicants to upload an original CV, to upload proof of work permit or driver's license. You can also include additional questions and documents that applicants might have to provide. And then you have the final review, and if you click publish, this job would now have been published. Okay. Now, to show you how that looks on a candidate side, here's an example of one of our clients, a large bank in Luxembourg. This is kind of like their career page, kind of employer branding with all the usual useful information. And as a candidate, if you want to search for jobs, you click here, and if you click on any of these particular jobs, this is kind of when Skeeled takes over, and it's all branded for the client, of course. And then here you have the summary of the particular job in question. And more importantly, from a candidate experience further down here, this is where you see the different options that the applicants have to apply for a role. So I mentioned the partnership with Indeed. If an applicant has an Indeed profile, they can use that. They can upload their LinkedIn profile. Of course, they can import their CV, which will parse. They can enter the information manually. And if they've ever applied via a Skeeled client in the past and they've consented to the data being kept with us, they can use that as an option as well. There's also an option, a nice feature to be able to apply at a later time. Now, whichever option a candidate chooses, they will always have the ability to review and edit before submitting any of the information. So this is how it looks on the candidate side. Another aspect to quickly highlight before we look at some candidates coming in is the ability to run campaigns. Now, we have actually forged a partnership with Vonk on top of the partnership that we have with Indeed. Vonk is a specialist in recruitment marketing, programmatic recruitment marketing, and they have forged relationships with over 2,000 different job boards. And we have natively integrated with them, which means that you can actually post onto over 2,000 different job boards from within Skeeled. So let's say we wanted to post this job onto the Guardian jobs website. You would see here how much it would cost, the type, the duration, and some basic information. And you would then basically include this posting onto the Guardian website. Now, this could be multiple job board postings within one campaign, or it could be different campaigns for different job boards. So for example, if we wanted to include this one on the Economist job board. Now, the interesting thing that is to highlight that all the billing actually happens through us. So you wouldn't have to register with all those 2,000 different job boards in order to post onto them. So all the billing happens through Skeeled. Saves people, running campaigns a lot of time and effort. Let's have a look at some of the applicants that are coming in for this particular job. So we have different views here. This is a Kanban view, which I like, but you also have the ability to view this in a table. And it will kind of show you where candidates are in regards to the workflow of this particular job. And you can actually rank these candidates. So the score is generated by our AI. So the AI has deemed these candidates as great. We have some in good, we have potentially some in average and some in weak. It's worth highlighting that the AI doesn't make any decisions for our clients. It's always a personal assistant, and it will make recommendations. It's really down to the recruiter, of course, to review the key information. Now, the other nice thing in the Kanban view, again, is that you have the ability to easily drag and drop people around from one step to another step. We also have kind of bulk actions. So if you wanted to send an email, for example, to all of these people here, this comes back to the templates that I mentioned in the setup. You could then kind of quickly reach out to all of these people in a bulk fashion. So The other thing to highlight, of course, is once you look at certain candidates, you click on them. And by the way, it's a little bit more common in Europe for candidates to upload pictures, but those don't have to be there. It's totally customizable. So on the left-hand side, you see some key information about a certain candidate, some tags that might have been applied to them, some additional information. And here, down here, you would see any files that they might have uploaded as part of the application process. More importantly, over here is where you see key information. So first of all, the score. So as I mentioned, this is what's generated via the AI. There's also the ability for recruiters to submit ratings for certain candidates, and these will be weighted and averaged based on how many people have contributed to rating this particular candidate. You can also see what stage they're in as part of the workflow, and you will see here any recent activity. Now, one thing I really love is this bit here where you have a drop down that gives you all the key actions that might be related to a particular candidate. Nice feature is the ability to easily compare two candidates to one another. And other actions include the ability to copy a particular candidate to another job, to move them to another job altogether, to add tags. You can always add tags here as well. You can create a scorecard. You can schedule interviews. Now, this is a great feature that we've recently introduced. We're actually syncing with all the key calendar providers, and this allows you for easy scheduling with any potential candidates, and it will sync with your calendar, colleagues' calendar, anybody who might be involved in the process, and you can propose certain time slots to candidates, and then they can pick and choose, and the interview slots will be automatically scheduled. Very nice time-saving feature for anybody who's managing interview scheduling. You can also request additional application steps. So if this person hasn't done a cognitive assessment, you might want to request that to happen. We also have great collaboration features with the whole team. So here you can actually collaborate with colleagues and add comments and upload additional files and information. So this will be available to anybody who's involved in this particular job. You can also add personal notes. So these will only be available to yourself. And a couple of other actions, you can send emails, of course, you can look at email records, you can mark this as unseen. And another interesting feature is the ability to share an applicant profile. So you could share this with people who don't have access to the Skeeled platform. Under GDPR rules, this will generate a unique link and a unique password, and the information will expire after 30 days. So that's it in terms of kind of looking at actions. If we scroll a bit further down, we can actually see some scorecards that might have been generated. If you go into here, you can see the kind of feedback that would have been given for a specific set of questions, and also the rating: 2 thumbs down, 1 thumb down, 1 thumb up, 2 thumbs up, and the average kind of final result. More importantly, here is where we have access to the assessments. We've actually partnered with a company called Assess First, and we have natively integrated with them. And they provide assessments around motivational, cognitive, and personality. And here you will have the overall result of this assessment in relation to the job, of course. And it's important to highlight that these results will also feed into the overall AI score. And you also have the ability to look at detailed reports that have been generated on the back of the assessment. By the way, a nice candidate experience, we actually offer our clients the ability to share these reports with candidates if they choose so. And then another key feature, of course, is the ability to do video interviews. So we do asynchronous one-way interviews where recruiters can ask questions. Applicants can film themselves answering those questions. They tend to be short form, so up to 3 minutes, and we tend to offer up to 5 different questions. And of course, applicants can have 3 goes, and they can do all of this via their mobile as well. Further down here, we have the kind of standardized information in terms of work experience, education, languages, and any extra skills or merits or information that they've uploaded as part of the application process. So that's it in terms of looking at candidates. Another interesting feature is the ability to accept spontaneous applications. So people can just upload their CV, for example. That can feed in nicely into a talent pool, of course. Another key feature that we have is KPIs and metrics. Now, these are widgets, they're totally configurable. Everything is exportable. You can also create a PDF report. And yeah, these dashboards are super flexible and configurable at user level or role level as well. Of course, yeah, in terms of compliance, we also have detailed activity records for all the users and roles. The campaigns I've already touched on. Here's the ability to see what candidates may have come in via employee referrals. And then the sourcing allows you to potentially upload CVs manually. You can also search LinkedIn. Go onto LinkedIn, we actually have a nice little plugin which allows you to parse a person's LinkedIn profile and assign them to a particular role. Now, this comes under the proviso, under GDPR rules, that you have to have that person's email, because they will be contacted and they will receive an email saying, hey, your profile has been loaded to a particular job. Are you interested? Yes, no, and then we'll delete the data, of course. So nice way to kind of source talent. And then, of course, we have the sourcing pool. So in essence, that is a sophisticated search functionality to access your database of talent, and you can search by keywords, names, statuses, etc. And of course, you can filter by all sorts of different filters. So if you want to find candidates that speak French or that are based in a certain country or city or whatever. Thing to highlight as well is the ability for all our clients to contribute and share ideas and suggestions with regards to the product. So anybody can submit ideas, and these ideas will be visible by all other clients and partners that Skeeled has. And then you can actually rate and rank some of these, yeah, you can actually see what's currently under consideration, what's being planned, what is actually being tested, and what has recently been launched. So in essence, yeah, being a startup, we're still pretty agile and customer focused. We want to shape the product and the offering based on our clients' feedback and their requirements. So that was a very quick tour. Obviously, there's a fair few other bells and whistles, but I hope I've given you a good overview of the Skeeled offering.
Thank you. That's been really interesting. If people want more information, Christophe, where should they reach out to?
So Christophe Gobel, LinkedIn, of course, Skeeled.com, yeah, via phase 3, of course, you have my email and contact details as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. That's been a really interesting session. And as Christophe said, if you've got any questions or further feedback, feel free to comment or get in touch with us directly.